Good morning to all those tuning in. This is the Rebel Lemon, and today we're playing Detective Grimoire, Secrets of the Swamp. So, this is one of those games that actually holds something special to me, as I loved the first game, but I was never able to play the second one, as when it came out, I was actually a kid and I couldn't afford it. But now that I can play it, I want to get right into it. Alright, that's the intro, I suppose. And the best part is fully voice acted. Granted, I might have to turn down the music a little bit.
2025 last night. A murder occurred in a remote part of this swamp. A small tourist attraction, deep within the heart of the marsh.
Hold on. A tourist attraction? Here? I don't get it. Why would anyone come here by choice?
I've explained this already. This area is famous.
Famous. All I read was that some idiot thought they saw an alien here 100 years ago.
Get your facts straight for once. We're talking about a creature that's lived in this swamp for over 60 years.
Okay, so it's a 60-year-old alien. I still don't see what matters.
If it matters to anyone, it's you. That creature is our prime suspect.
The murder suspect?
That's right. This is no Loch Ness monster. You need to be taking this seriously.
No, look, come on. How am I supposed to arrest something that might not exist?
We've always enjoyed a challenge before. You can start by reading this.
Our case file? There's not a lot of it, is there?
As usual, we only know the bare essentials at this point.
Alright, so Richard Remington, founding of the tourist attraction Boggy's Bog, was found dead outside his office at 20:45 last night. The exact cause of death is unknown. 3 small wounds to the chest suggest an attack from a clawed creature. Slime around the wound and footprints at the scene suggest the culprit was Boggy, the legendary swamp creature. Any of the 7 other people present in the swamp last night could hold vital information. Oh, okay, so that's the person who's dead. That's where they died. That's the wound, footprints, and that's the suspect.
Our murder victim, Richard Remington, he was in charge of this, tourist attraction. Boggy's Bog? What a name.
Boggy is the name of our creature. Well, nowadays it is.
You mean that stupid cartoon character? I've heard of him. That thing is our murder suspect?
There's more to Boggy than the cartoon character, I promise you. This is the place it all began. You'll find out soon enough.
Oh, I'm so excited. And there he goes, losing his hat.
Your case file is in the top right. You can look at your clues and suspect profiles in here. When you've collected some, of course. I'll stay and guard our boat, so if you're confused, come back here and I'll help you.
Okay, so I want speech to be the thing that's hurt the most, so everything can be relegated down here. Yeah, that sounds fine. Alright, so Grimoire's voice actor is actually someone I am very fond of, but I actually don't know who they are. They played in a few other games that I very much love, and I would really love to find out who they are one day. But
Back so soon, Grimoire? What's troubling you?
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing.
Getting rusty, I see. Don't panic, I'll go over the basics. First of all, you can examine things you find in the swamp by tapping on them. My advice is to be thorough. You won't regret it.
What about the suspects?
That's simple. Just tap on anyone you meet and begin talking to them. You'll eventually be able to choose from a list of topics, some of which might not be available at first. So you'll need to visit each suspect several times. My advice is to
Be thorough and I won't regret it. Yeah, I got it. Talk to everyone about everything.
If you must put it so bluntly, you can move around the swamp by selecting walk mode with the button on the bottom right, and then choosing a direction.
So, wait. What's the button on the top right?
That's the most important button of all. It opens your case file. It's where you keep
Oh,
all...
I remember. I keep all my notes in there. Everything about suspects, clues, and the areas I've been to.
Precisely. If you get lost, read through your case file. It should help you decide what you need to do next. Good luck. Back so soon, Grip? What's troubling you?
Your
Here we go.
mustache is troubling me. That thing seems to be longer every time I see you.
You've been warned about this, Detective. Don't talk about my facial hair, and I won't talk about yours.
What's wrong with mine? It's perfectly under control. It's trimmed and ready for action.
Grimoire, you're supposed to be investigating a murder. Stop wasting time.
oh, that's the officer from the first game as well. I didn't even realize that. Police file, notes, clues, oh, suspects, oh, and it's like an indicator. As we figure stuff out, this will go up and down. Huh. Ah, cool. Alright, so... Oh, okay, so that's essentially everything on the left. You can click and hold the back button to exit immediately from menus.
That's where I need to go.
Okay.
I can switch to walk mode with the button in the bottom right. Oh, and if I'm feeling confident, I can turn off those sparkly hit icons in the options menu.
I'm gonna keep them on, because I like them. And hey, this is the little girl.
Wow, you didn't get lost yet.
No, I only just got here. Who are you?
You don't remember. Of course, you're not great at remembering. I should be offended, though.
You're that weird girl from the fairground.
Hell
I
yeah.
saw your hat blow through here already. You must be slow, if it wouldn't even wait for you.
Well, if you'll let me, I'd better go after it. You can wait here and
You'll
behave.
get lost. I would never forgive myself if I let you go through without the map.
You have a map of the swamp?
Not anymore. I'm giving it to you.
You should really stay here. It's dangerous. There's been a murder. Although I suppose you know all about it already?
They're saying it was the creature, but it can't be him. He doesn't seem like a killing sort of creature. Nope. He's a different sort of creature.
Wait, what do you mean? If you... she disappeared.
Huh.
I might pretend I imagined her. Is an opportunity for a photographic memento. The two characters are an explorer and Boggy himself. Are they... fighting? The fence that seems to surround this entire area.
Okay, from...
It's an old statue of Boggy. His feet are hidden in a bucket of murky water.
From my understanding of things, everything in this game can be, or almost everything can be clicked on and examined, but not everything is important.
Just my luck, the gate's closed. Looks like I can move these metal latches around. I should just have to slide at least one of them out of the bottom of the lock. Then I'll be able to get through this gate. Probably.
Alright, so it should be easy enough, right? Need to go up. And there we go.
Hey, nice. I might get one of these from my office. This is the tourist attraction? The whole thing just doesn't make sense to me. Let's do some thinking. Drag any two stray thoughts into those slots at the bottom, and flick through the connecting statements in between to make a sentence. Tap the confirm button to try it out. I just have to focus my thoughts and reach a conclusion. Boggy's Bog seems like the middle of nowhere.
Alright, so... what do we have? Is too far remote? Isn't warm enough? Way too big? Swamp is far too remote. Alright, I think that one's it.
The swamp is far too remote for the tourist attraction to make any money. It's really bugging me. What's the story behind this place?
Alright, so, we're at the crossroads.
There's a hollow part of the tree right at the front, but it's too dark to see inside.
Alright. We have either the... Whoa!
There's a hollow part. Note to self.
Alright, so we have the cafe and the museum. And I like both, to be honest. But I'm in the mood for a coffee.
I should visit the crime scene before I do anything else. I think Officer James said it was to the west.
That's a shame.
I should visit the crime scene before I do anything else. I think Officer James said it... These flower petals seem a little out of place, lying on the ground over there. Looks like
Alright, so I think I have to find the crime scene first before I can do anything.
So, this is where they found Remington's body.
Yep. Oh, okay. A map of the tourist attraction, Boggy's Bog, generously donated by the mysterious little girl at the entrance. When I'm exploring the swamp, I can access my map from the bottom, the map in the bottom corner. Okay. Up here.
So,
Right, okay.
there's an open window above Remington's body. One of the curtains is ripped and hanging on the outside. I can't get in here without a key, and I don't feel like kicking the door down. Maybe if I get desperate later on. I can't... I don't like it here.
That makes two of
The
us.
strange footprints stop right by these reeds. Maybe I should take a closer look. Maybe I can move some of them out of the way.
And look at that. Something is suspicious.
A strange pair of green flippers, badly hidden in the reeds outside the office.
Strange green flippers. Who left these lying around?
There are bizarre footprints with 3 toes leading up to the office door. And back down into those reeds by the water. There are bizarre footprints with... I can't get in here without a key. And I don't feel like kicking the door down. Maybe if I get desperate.
Alright, so we might be looking for something else, actually.
The strange foot... Maybe I...
Alright, that just does that. Let us see. I don't think there's anything else we can do here at the moment.
Aha, some suspects. Let's get this investigation started.
And I was right. So, let's actually start talking to people.
Alright, let's see. Another suspect for my notebook.
That's a little rude.
No, I'm sorry. Did I say that bit out loud?
Maybe not. Maybe I can hear your thoughts.
So would you be able to answer my questions before I asked you?
Would you be able to question my answers before I tell you?
I could try.
I'm Bobby Burl, professional cameraman. Pleased to meet you.
I'm Detective Grimoire. I'm here to investigate last night's murder. Obviously.
Grimoire. Strange. Is that your first name?
It's my 23rd name, but it's the one I like best. First name, what's the first name? It's my second name. Detective is my first. Oh, okay. I mean, every time I hear him, it's always Detective Grimoire. So, I'm gonna go with this one.
It's my second name. Detective is my first name.
Tell me about your
So
job.
you already told me what you do, but now, why would a cameraman be working here?
I go where I'm needed. Vincent wanted to come to the swamp, and I was happy to help.
Vincent Vanderpeer. You mean that man standing on that rock over there?
That's right. I've worked with him for many years.
Is he your boss?
Oh, I don't know about that. We work together. He's tried to film here before, but he never got permission until about a week ago.
Oh, really? But why did you want to come here in the first place?
If you're looking for a reason to write down in your notebook, I'm sure he can tell you if you ask him. I'm just the guy who carries around the camera.
You always carry that camera with you?
Most of the time.
Alright, tell me about the last night.
You were here yesterday, I presume? Last night?
Yes, I was.
Here, in this clearing?
No, I was over at the cafe getting something to eat. Richard Remington was there too.
Remington? You saw him last night? Just before the murder?
That's right, I saw him. He left the cafe looking rather ill. I offered to help, but he just wanted to go back to his office. He looked like he had a lot on his mind.
He was ill yesterday?
Perhaps it was something he ate.
Actually, let us present a profile.
You should ask someone else.
Okay, maybe not.
Yes, do you have a message for me?
No. I don't think so.
Then why are you here? I'm incredibly busy.
You don't look it. Who are you, anyway?
What a question. You're serious? I am Vincent Vanderpeer.
The famous movie director?
The artist, the visionary, the auteur. I'm a man of many talents.
Let's hope you have a talent for answering my questions. That is very talented, Beard. You have the... At least, I heard your work was going downhill lately.
I heard your work was going downhill lately.
You're in my light. Could you take a few steps back, please?
But then I'd be too far away to talk to you.
I know.
Can anyone just walk in here and start filming?
Alright, so... He only recently got permission from... the film. I'm going to go with that. That is weird. Wait a sec. Um... I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to check this out.
A ghost! Forced Boggy to murder the victim. I'm losing my mind here.
Fucking worth it. There we go. So, oh, I gotta switch these around actually. So, Richard Remington only got permission from Vincent Van Der Peer. Sorry, wrong way around. So he only got permission from him recently to film in the swamp.
Vincent Van Der Peer only recently got permission from Richard Remington to film here in the swamp. I wonder if Mr. Van Der Peer has been breaking rules. Or maybe he'll have an excuse.
Oh, we unlocked the challenge. Wasn't given permission, in the swamp. Challenge topic now available. Ooh.
This area is kind of empty.
I wonder when we talk to him for a sec. Oh, okay, so there is 2 more topics. But I'm guessing I have to present evidence to unlock them?
What's a famous guy like you doing in a place like this?
Quite. I'm sure you're thinking, why doesn't he send an assistant? But that's not the way this director works.
But what are you doing?
I'm feeling, I'm experiencing, I'm discovering. This area, the history, the atmosphere, it's the perfect setting for my next film. I'm on a scouting mission to get to know this swamp before I begin work on the latest masterpiece in a string of masterpieces.
You're making a movie about Boggy? About the swamp creature?
Of course. He's a fascinating individual, isn't he? So mysterious.
No idea. I haven't met him yet. Is that your cameraman over there?
Yes, that's right. Bobby Burl, my faithful right-hand man. Well, faithful enough, you know.
No, I don't know.
He's an expert cameraman. Really knows his trade, of course. But he gets a bit muddled when it comes to priorities.
Like how? You mean he's lazy? He doesn't look lazy. He looks a bit scary.
Oh no, nothing of the sort. He just has a little hobby that sometimes distracts him from his work. But I wouldn't want anyone else shooting for me.
Alright, so... he's a little cocky, I guess.
Were you working yesterday? Here in the swamp, I mean?
Indeed I was working. Very hard indeed. Well into the night.
Hard work, is it? Getting to know the swamp?
You jest. But yesterday I was getting even more involved than usual, yes. Difficult to comprehend, I know.
So what kind of work were you doing?
Well, I was, unable to find my faithful cameraman last night. He had hidden himself quite completely from view.
Bobby Burl, right? Did you need him to film for you?
Always. But being a resourceful type of man, I stepped up and took on the responsibility myself. I was filming in this exact area, in fact.
You were filming? Last night? Here?
Yes, at the time of the murder, I believe. But wait, I know what you're thinking. Now, don't forget, I'm not here to shoot some experimental documentary. I have no interest in late-night surveillance footage.
Did you see anything at all? What is it you were filming?
The water. I was filming the water. It's a fascinating subject, one that has me captivated to the point where
So, you didn't see anything useful? Got excited there for a minute.
Nothing useful to you, my good detective. But there are some odd sounds on the audio track. Nothing but wild animals going about their nighttime rituals, I'm sure.
Is there something I should ask the cameraman?
Why the hell would you be filming the water? That's weird as fuck. Doesn't explain why, lied to me because, told me that. It's one of the reasons. Was the murder, was nowhere to be found last night, was so useless. Oh!
Bobby Burrell lied to me because Vincent Vanderpeer was nowhere to be found last night. Oh, that doesn't make...
Oh, maybe it's this?
Bobby Burrell lied to me because Burrell's camera was nowhere to be found last night. Oh, that doesn't... Maybe Bobby Burrell needs to do a little explaining.
I'm trying to think. Oh, maybe it's...
Vincent Vanderpeer told
There
me
we
that
go.
Bobby Burrell was nowhere to be found last night. Simple enough. What was Mr. Burrell doing last night that meant he couldn't help out his boss?
There we go. Now, let's try the challenge topic. Footage recorded last night at this exact time of the murder. Filmed by Vincent Vanderpeer in the clearing of the west side of the swamp near the scene of the crime. There is nothing to see but various clues can be heard on the audio track. Listen to them in order. Okay. That's interesting. Oh. I can actually look. Oh, I guess not. Huh. I'll do that in a bit, I guess. What's your challenge?
I heard from Mr. Vanderpeer over there that you were nowhere to be found last night.
Didn't I say I was at the cafe?
Yeah, you did. But your director needed you for some filming, and he couldn't find you. What were you doing that was so important?
Well, let's see. After I ate, I had to walk around the swamp. I didn't have my camera, so I was free to stretch my legs for once.
Where was your camera? Don't you carry it around with you all the time?
No, not all the time.
Oh, right. He left it with, Vanderpeer.
You left it with Vanderpeer, and he used it instead that night.
That's right, he was looking after that camera. So I went for a late-night stroll. This place is beautiful in the evenings.
You just walked around? You didn't do anything? Didn't see anyone?
Well, I can't say that. I have various ways to pass the time, you know.
Hobby on the side, you're collecting water samples.
Vanderpeer said you had a hobby on the side.
Is that what he said? Well, yes, he's right. I brought 2 cameras with me when I came here. I left my video camera, yes, but I have another one. It's much smaller, and it only takes black and white photographs. You know the kind I mean?
A really old one?
Yes, I suppose so. I've always enjoyed traditional photography, and this place is a wonderful opportunity to take some pictures of a natural environment.
So, you were having some time off to take black and white photographs? For fun?
Only one photograph. You have to be disciplined when you're not using a digital camera.
Can I see it?
Of course. I took it near the woods at the back of the swamp. It's quite an interesting shot, but the light qualities weren't perfect.
Here we are. Feel free to take a look.
Wait, what? This is a photo?
I haven't developed it yet. I only took it last night. Just brush the developing fluid over the photo to reveal the image.
Oh, and this is, not how it works at all, by the way.
What? Is that Boggy? The swamp creature just standing in the water?
It could be. Personally, I'm not convinced, but I'll let you decide for yourself.
Alright, so we got a blurry photo. It shows something that looks like Boggy. Seems to have long legs. Okay, I understand. But I think I might have to come back to that. Alright, let's,
These flower petals seem looks like this path leads towards... I can't wait.
let's talk to him, I guess.
You've arrived at a bad time, my friend. For once, they don't actually want tourists walking around this place.
I always arrive at a bad time. It's what I do. I'm a detective, not a tourist.
My apologies. It's just, you have the same wide-eyed expression as the kids that come here. Running around, spending their parents' money, you know.
Well, it's not every day I visit a swamp full of such unique specimens.
It's no problem. You're just thinking what we all thought when we arrived for the first time.
Why didn't they put in a bathroom?
No, you're thinking, this place is beautiful. What a lucky man I am to be here.
I am I? Well, if you say so.
Edward Everstone, at your service.
That's a pretty cool name. Can I call you Ed?
You don't need to. Everyone just calls me Echo.
Why? Because it gives you an elevated sense of purpose. Why? Because you're a good swimmer. Because you bounce.
Why? Because it gives you an elevated sense of purpose?
What? No. Because I always come back. Again and again. Until my job is done.
Interesting, I guess?
You're protesting, right?
I certainly am. And now that you're here, I'm getting you involved.
What does that mean? Yeah, I haven't got time to hold up signs for you. I'm sorry.
You simply have to hear my message and take it with you.
Go ahead. I'm all ears. Plus, I have a little notebook.
What was the first thing you felt when you saw the sign for Boggy's Bog looming over you?
Well, I thought it was...
Not thought. Felt.
I felt... Well, something seemed wrong. There wouldn't be a tourist attraction in the middle of a swamp like this. There shouldn't be.
My job is done. Clearly your brain is working perfectly, Detective.
So you're against the tourist attraction? Yeah, let's see. You'd rather this area was kept as a natural habitat, right?
Right again. And that precise word, habitat. First and foremost, I'm protesting for animal rights.
Well, okay, I'm following you, but it's not like they're cutting down trees or anything like that, right?
All animals deserve the right to live in peace, and I promise you, on a normal day, this place is far from peaceful.
Are you talking about the swamp creature? About Boggy?
A creature like that. He's earned the right to be left alone. We're fools to invite ourselves into his home like this on a daily basis, assuming he's not going to mind. Assuming he'll keep to himself and let us walk around with his face on our t-shirts.
Well, I agree. I think he should be left alone. But like you said, he can probably handle himself. And if no one has even seen him in 60 years, I don't really see the problem.
Unlike you, Detective, I never had an academic calling in life. I was never even a talented artist or musician or anything. So instead, I made the decision to stand up for those who were getting a raw deal.
I mean, so he's assuming, well, he's saying that we shouldn't assume that Boggy would like it if we were like around his swamp, like his home kinda, bugging him. But then again, on the flip side, wouldn't he also be assuming that Boggy wouldn't like us being around, or at least would mind us being around, I guess. Because it could just be like, oh hey, they're doing stuff, whatever. I don't know. Like, and technically, I do appreciate animal activists and environmental activists, but they do take it too far sometimes. He doesn't seem to be too harmful, but, you know, technically, the creature is an invasive species, so, yeah, that's fun.
You come here every day.
Yes, I do.
Well, I'm only going to ask you about one of those days. What were you doing yesterday evening?
I was here at my protest spot until fairly late. Then I went to get something to eat at Harper's Cafe before I...
Wait, you ate at the cafe here? Doesn't supporting the tourist attraction like that kind of go against your protest?
A man has to eat, doesn't he? I don't think the meager contributions of one person are going to keep this place afloat. Especially now.
And you're sleeping here? Doesn't it get cold at night?
Well, I came prepared, of course. I usually find myself with 1 or 2 extra layers to wear. Most of this bulk is padding, I promise you.
I'm sure it is. So you stayed here the whole night?
That's right. And I admit I may have heard some stranger than usual sounds floating around the swamp last night.
What kind of sounds?
It's impossible to say. This place fills with the most terrifying sounds at night. Hundreds of animals, some tiny, some much larger, awaken and make their own protests. Every night until the sun rises in the morning.
Insects make noises at night. Okay, I've written it down.
Okay. Can you tell me anything about Boggy?
Boggy is my prime suspect, you know. The creature you're trying to protect.
Protect is the wrong word. If your suspicions were correct, we could both agree he's a creature that doesn't need protecting.
You think he might be the murderer?
I think he's a wild animal, and he wants to be left alone at any cost.
You know what? That's fair. Actually, can you tell me about Mr.
The
Remington?
murder victim.
Since last night, yeah. But he was the owner of Boggy's Bog. Did she know him?
Not personally. To be honest, I'm quite glad about it.
Alright. That's kind of it. At least for there. Alright, this is interesting.
Sorry to interrupt. I can see that you're, hard at work.
You weren't here yesterday.
Just arrived. I know I was in my office. Oh, I'm gonna do it.
Did you miss me?
You're the detective, right?
I'm a detective.
So, that was your head I saw blowing through here.
You spotted it too.
If you're good at your job, you may have realized that it's kinda dead around here. So, I generally notice magical floating detective hats. Oh, and don't worry, you look better without it.
How do you know?
Oh, I have a good imagination.
Well, someone is interested in Grimoire. Interesting. But I wonder if she's the college student from the last game? Fuck, I wish I remembered what her name was. Oh well, not my problem.
I didn't expect to see someone your age working in a place like this. But then again, I didn't expect there to be a place like this in a place like this.
I only started working here this year anyway. It's temporary. Just running the gift shop to earn a little extra money. Don't ask how I ended up here.
I'll save that question for a different day. You don't seem at home here exactly.
I hate it. This place is disgusting.
Come on, you don't think it's kind of beautiful?
You would say that. You only just got here. You'll get sick of it.
If I wasn't here, I'd be stuck in my office doing paperwork.
At least at your office, you don't have to bring spare clothes every day. It's impossible to leave this place without being covered in dirt.
Challenge accepted.
You know what? She actually kind of has a point.
when you have a moment
swamps
free
also
from
smell.
your busy schedule, I need to ask you about last night.
I know, but it won't help. I worked here during the day, then left my gift shop and went home in the evening, same as every day.
You just leave your gift shop here when you go?
No, I put it in my pocket.
Yeah, seriously though, as much as I appreciate sarcasm, I think I'd get in trouble if I wrote something like that down in my notes.
Well, look, you've noticed the gift shop has wheels and you're thinking, oh, she's pretty lazy to leave it lying around. But if you want to try pushing this thing through the swamp, be my guest. And I can't lock it up, so I just leave it here overnight. Nobody's ever stolen any of this lousy merchandise anyway. I even left my spare clothes here when I went home last night.
You left them here? By the gift shop?
Yeah, it's no big deal. They were all still here this morning. Kind of.
Kind of?
I think someone played a stupid joke, and my spare black leggings were covered in some disgusting swamp slime when I found them in the bag this morning. If you're going to take my clothes and mess them up, then just keep them. I don't want them back. You know what I mean?
I absolutely do.
Oh, where is that photo? Someone might have been missing a piece of the costume and stole the leggings. Tell me
He
about...
made sure I always got paid, so I can't say anything bad about him.
You can if you like. He won't hear you.
You should have more respect for the dead.
I know.
Okay, you know what? This is going to sound bad, but that's probably something I'd say.
I think the cartoon character is kind of dumb.
What about the real creature?
I've never met him.
Me neither.
Her. I don't know why she still works here, to be honest. One murder is one murder too many.
Interesting.
It's a humble gift shop wagon. Let's take a look. Bonky dolls, bonky toys, bonky postcards. Yeah, this stuff isn't half bad.
Is there anything that actually stands out?
It's a map of the swamp. Mine seems a little older than this one, though.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's a framed drawing of Boggy. What a shame, it's not even signed.
You know what? I will say, I wonder what the differences between my map and the old map would be.
What on earth? This thing doesn't seem to belong here at all. It's some kind of roughly made costume head, I think. There's a strange piece of red fabric stuffed inside. 2 clues for the price of 1, I guess.
Oh, that's the ad. And then, oh yeah, okay. But why would it be in the hat?
There aren't many clues over here, unless those trees are a clue. But I don't think so. There aren't many clues over, but I'm not going to worry.
Oh, okay. So this tells me out of 8, I guess? How do I get to all my suspects? Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. Wasn't given...
Predictably, a trash can, and I just can't resist taking a look inside. The glamorous life of a detective. My favorite part of the job. Maybe there's something underneath the trash in here.
You should probably wear some gloves, latex.
Hello, what's this? Just a piece of paper? Or something more sinister?
These look like designs for a boggy costume. What's going on around here? Oh, okay, so we found... maybe 3 out of 5? I think that'd be a
Are
safe
we really
bet.
talking about a swamp creature here?
Oh, okay, how about this? And then this. Oh, hey, that's a reference to the previous game.
The costume design I found in the trash can explains what the swamp creature ever existed. I'm losing my mind here.
Oh, that's ever, not never. It's doing, showing me. Oh, okay. It has to be this one, right? Is it this?
The costume design I found in the
okay.
trash can explains what Burrow's black and white photo is showing me. My detective's intuition is
Hey,
kicking
there you
in.
go.
That black and white photograph. I'm not sure I'm looking at the real Boggy here, and I think these designs I found in the trash can might be the answer. I'll ask around, see if anybody knows anything about this. Oh, and I should start looking for the costume itself. If I can find that, there'll be some pretty impressive evidence.
Alright. So, we're on to Chapter 2. Which, unfortunately, for everyone tuning in, means I have to say thank you for tuning into our frequency. This is the Rebel Lemon, signing off. So, good night and sweet nightmares.